Okay. Yeah. Guys, what's going on? We're here. We're live. Welcome. Brand new Poker Life podcast. My name's Joey. Good morning, Chicago Joey. It's been a big week of podcasts, guys. We had one of the best podcasts in the entire poker existence in the world of poker that's ever happened on Sunday with my friend Barry Greenstein. We had Dominique Nietzsche, the young German high roller wonderkin, one of the best players in the world, yesterday on the podcast. Got a video about the PokerStars rake raising on Monday in the tournaments. They protecting the recreational players, the small stakes by raising the rake there. And I recorded a podcast yesterday with Gus Hansen that will be up next Monday afternoon. And yeah, today joining me today is a young man who. How do we sum this guy up in one introduction, guys? I'm not really sure. We're going to try, though. A man that we first had on back in the day. A man who, when he first came on, no one really knew much about him, but he won the WQ main event. And then he's been on the podcast a bunch of times over the years. Started his own company, Prime Mind. Won all the high rollers. Became one of the best tournament players in the entire world. And now he's on the podcast to announce that he's going to be running for president of Germany. We have the young Prince Fedor Holz in the podcast. What's up, Fedor? What's happening?
What's up? Yeah, you hear it first. Yeah, definitely. No politics yet, but let's see, maybe in 10, 20 years.
I don't believe it. People say the voice is echoing out there, guys. I'm trying to we are live here, guys. I'm trying to get that figured out of exactly where that's coming from, because I heard that a little bit earlier on it might be on the young Prince's end here. I'm not sure. Too much echo.
I'm not sure what to choose.
Maybe try going. Sorry, technical difficulties, guys. Sorry about that. Maybe just try going out and coming back in, Fades.
Yeah, let me see.
Cool, guys. Yeah, we're gonna get the little echo here fixed. Not sure where that's from, but yeah, well, I would fix here in a second. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat tuning in live. Did I get out of line last night? No, I didn't get out of line last night, guys. What is with you people? Just because I live in Vegas on the Strip doesn't mean I'm getting out of line with my life, man. My life is very in line. It's constant thought about Alec Torelli in my mind. I'm thinking about how can I be nice to people? All this stuff happening in poker these days with all this ACR stuff. By the way, ACR guys, the cheating stuff that happened in ACR I talked about, they did give out more refunds yesterday. So check your account to see if you got refunds. So Fedor's closing and coming back in to see if we can get rid of this little bit of echo problem we had to start the podcast. So, but yeah, man, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat as the time goes on. I have a pretty big list of things right here for Fedor, because people definitely want to hear from the young Prince. So yeah, people asked they want to know about the $1 million cash game Fedor bite into. So we didn't actually see that $1 million cash game anywhere online. So I'm definitely interested to find out about that. All right, Fedor, you're back.
Yes. Does it work better now?
We shall see, my friend. We shall see. How's it going, Fades? How's things been, man?
Good. Yes, I feel good. Lots of good things happening. Even though I fired 7 bullets, everything's still all right. Played the biggest tournaments of all time, but no, everything's good.
Yeah, so Fedor is referencing last week there was super high rollable China that Justin Bonomo took down. And so the buy-in's $250,000, but if you listen to Fedor, it's actually 12 million Hong Kong. And he bought in 7 times to this tournament because it's an unlimited re-entry tournament. Now, people are wondering, how is this a good idea? Is this GTO? Is there some point when you stop rebuying? Are you committed to rebuying once you start rebuying once? Do you have to just keep going? What's the thought process like behind rebuying 7 times in a $250,000 tournament?
It's quite simple, actually. There is basically it's ICM. That's one thing that makes it like that. You've probably heard this word, this mystery word, a couple of times on the podcast already. Mostly from tournament players. So basically what it means is we have a player pool of like 70 entries now, and doesn't matter what the buy-in is. We just say it's one buy-in, not looking at how much dollars it is. And then you're at the point where now it's down to 16 players, and there's 11 players paid, and you still get the chance to buy in for the same amount, one buy-in for the same starting stack. But now that starting stack is worth more because you're basically so close to the bubble, and your equity of that starting stack goes up. So that's the reason why buying in late still makes sense. And then obviously there's like little things like I think that I have an edge over the field, a small one, and I believe it's a good buy-in. And then obviously it sounds bad if you're in for it. Was actually I think 14 million Hong Kong, so almost 2 million US. But I mean I just try to play to maximize the EV for my shareholders, for myself. So I think it was the smartest decision to play it again.
Fedor, wait a second. You're telling people you didn't have 100% of yourself in Crossbook 2 times that price? People out there are thinking, how much money is the young prince making these days? He got all of himself for 7 buy-ins in the 250K super high rollerball China, man.
Then I would have won, right? That doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
No, now these days it's fun because I think now I have less role that I would consider as poker role or liquid money or however. So I actually take smaller pieces than I used to, because at a certain point I had so much cash that I basically saw as my poker bankroll. That I took way bigger pieces, and now I take moderate pieces of myself.
Well, I'd also have to imagine that if you're not in the poker rhythm, in that poker zone, playing poker consistently, I would imagine the confidence isn't at that all-time high where you know it can be. So you might want to take less of yourself from that standpoint too.
Actually, no. I think I know very well where I'm at. I actually think that I've been playing very consistently. I think I maybe play slightly worse than I used to, but not that I can really feel it. I still feel edge in these tournaments, and I still think I'm somewhere in the top 10 in the world.
Interesting. I guess one would think that just when you start spreading your energy out, when you're focused on prime mind, when you're focused on traveling for more business related stuff, and you're not necessarily as focused on poker, and you're going up against other players who are pretty much playing poker day in and day out, it seems like to me, I would think that your edge would decrease a little bit against those guys. And obviously against the recreational players, you're still going to have a massive edge. But against the player, like let's say Justin Bonomo, who I feel like is grinding day in, day out, weekend in, weekend out, you would think that might decrease over time, but you don't think that's been the case for you.
I think it very much depends on which player you look at. I actually think the players where I feel my edge is decreasing or where I might be losing at slightly is or are the players that I think really are in the lab and working on their game consistently. I think really just grinding it out and that's what I realized. I thought in the beginning, okay, if I stop grinding and other people keep grinding, that will just quickly turn into, okay, they're way better than I am. But I actually think that playing live changes very little. So I actually see it the opposite sometimes as well, where I feel they're overplayed or they're not being so in the zone. And then I think a big factor is how much the money matters. And I think that is a huge factor when you play for stakes that are very or too significant or too big for you, where I see people regularly just making poor plays because they're somewhat emotionally stressed out. So that's interesting because I can play and I'm basically in every situation. I'm just enjoying the moment and playing the game. So that's very positive compared to 1 or 2 years ago for myself.
That actually does make some sense too, because I've noticed from when I taken time off and then I get back to grinding, I'm like, I feel like I'm infinitely better right now, whether it's because I bettered my mindset through just studying or through reading or through talking about different things and then kind of resetting the fundamentals in my mind. And then I come back to poker. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I kind of see things a little differently. So do you think at some point in time, though, that might go away for you if you kind of keep up with that sporadic play in and out of playing? For
sure. I'm not saying it's not happening. I think I can. There's definitely players where I can feel that I'm getting like I'm losing it. I'm losing my edge, and they're winning an edge against me. There's a handful of players where I would say they're really. I can really feel they're in the lab and they're getting significantly better. Shout outs to Stephen Chidwick. I think he was a good player, and I think he became and still I think people don't realize I think how good he is. But also, I mean, Stefan, like there was this beginning part where I think there were some live things where maybe they haven't played with certain people that much, and then they did plays that kind of looked silly, and then if you mix their theoretical knowledge with also their then having experience, I mean, then I think they're just a superior player.
Wait a
than I
second.
am.
Who's the superior player? Are you mentioned? Is these specific people, or did you mean the Germans overall?
No, I think these two I mentioned, for example, I feel that they're superior player or better players than I am. Just because I think they have the experience. They also I think take information into their game, and they have a just better theoretical knowledge of the game. So yeah.
What went down with this $1 million cash game that you were playing? And so
Oh.
this was a million. I don't know if this is. I don't know where this went. I didn't hear anything about this. I think you texted me about it, and I didn't see anything. I've been seeing the internet. I don't know what happened. What's the details?
Yeah, it was. There's two sides to it. So on the one side, I'm happy that they're trying things like this. I think it's great for the game. I think every time I'm being just so overwhelmed by how famous poker is in China. And how many fans there are and how many viewers these streams get, and it's just insane to me how many people travel there to get a signature. It's just something that doesn't really happen anywhere else. So that big props to the organizers and the people that try to make that happen. But then on the other side, what I don't like about any kind of thing you do is when you overpromise and then underdeliver. And that was something. I mean, I specifically, I've been to Macau a lot of times, and right now, I've my girlfriend here in Vienna and the company here, and I have a really good time here. So my threshold of, okay, should I go back to Macau after I've been there a lot of times and I'm not enjoying that part so much, and it's mostly just a hotel room where I'm sitting and killing time. So the positive thing was definitely seeing friends, but then also there's Vegas coming up, and there's Barcelona with Party. So to make it short, they promised some really incredible things like the 200 or the 300k or 270k or whatever it was, and then the $1 million cash game with Businessman, and they promised I think 15 or more business people in the tournament, and then it was just this story where I think actually even if they would have set the bar realistically, still people, probably 95% of the people who came would have come. But that for me was okay. I got money there and I organized it and I talked to people and I was sitting there spending my evening there waiting, and then we for as background we were planning to run a $1 million cash game. There were Phil Ivey, me, Dan Cates, I think, and then Jason Kuhn and 3 businessmen. And then in the end, it was basically the businessman. One businessman turned out to be a regular, and the businessman was there, and then Phil Ivey didn't show up, and apparently then the business guy only wanted to play with Phil Ivey, but I think he was also kind of trolling. So it was just this thing where you're sitting there, you wired $1 million there or organized it to the casino, and it just a bit I was disappointed. So that's the cash game situation.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a very enjoyable experience, especially if you take time out of your day and you wire that much money. And we talked with Dominic on the podcast yesterday, and I mean, it doesn't sound like it's necessarily the most straightforward thing to wire a lot of money there without losing money on conversion or anything like that. So yeah, I can definitely understand you being a little bit frustrated of going through that with this experience. Yeah,
it happens. I understand that sometimes things don't happen. It's just more this 100%, it's gonna happen. I promised, and next time I would have wished for more, just more realistic communication, and then I think everyone can say, okay, this works for me or this doesn't work. I mean, even if it runs 50% of the time, maybe I would come. I don't know, but then I'm at least not. Then at least it's an honest conversation.
Mm-hmm. They're lucky my man Doug Polk wasn't there. If that happened with the Supreme Leader Doug Polk, there'd have been 3 YouTube videos up that week about it, and I might even said something about it too, man. They're like, you guys. I'm kidding.
Hey,
Doug wouldn't have made it. I'm just kidding, guys.
Angry Doug Polk, huh?
Angry. Listen, don't know. Doug Polk's going bipolar lately on Twitter. He was nice Doug Polk, and now he's back to angry Doug Polk. I didn't. I don't even know if Nice Doug Puck was actually Doug. I asked him numerous. I'm like, Doug, that's actually not you, right? He's like, no, it's me. I said, no, really. Is it the social media guy? Is it Brady on the account? Who's on the account? It didn't seem like him on the account, but yeah, we don't got to expect that from Fedor, man. Fedor, I remember we got the little vlogs from you last year, man, when you were out here for what was that?
Poker Masters.
Poker Masters, yeah, Poker Masters. You did a little vlog, you did a little content. It seems like you're a little bit kind of all over the place there a little bit these past bunch of maybe like 8 months with Prime Mind, with doing podcasts that are more mainstream, with kind of popping in there doing some poker content, with maybe popping in playing a poker tournament, man. Where's your focus been these past few months on with what you're doing?
I think actually my focus has been mainly with Primed. And so I want to talk about that because I think that wasn't that clear. I mean, it's quite a long time actually since we talked last time. So the main idea behind Primed and when we launched it was not only Prime Mind, the app. That was one of the first things of, okay, what we're going to start with, what's the product, what can we develop, how can we actually learn something? But it's more the idea of how can I create an infrastructure where every idea I have, whatever it might be, I can realize in the best possible way. Because I personally, I consider myself a dreamer, and I think I have a lot of ideas. And through poker, then I learned, okay, if you have to go more of a practical way and actually execute things and be a little more realistic. And then I found, especially through all the people I talked to, and this I miss this kind of team feeling of building something that can actually grow further, where you, I mean, there's just certain skills that I will never have, like coding or being a very good coder in specific areas or a very good designer. And I felt this mixture creates a synergy where you can actually do things that, that are big ideas and big things that I'd like to do at some point. So Prime Mind is basically one of the projects we launched to just learn things and get on with it and create something, because we really like what Elliot does. We love the content. It helped me. The other guys I founded a company with, they liked it as well. They work with Elliot. And so we were like, okay, we got to start somewhere. We have no experience in this world whatsoever. So we started this. But basically, Primed is the idea to create a company, like an incubator or a company creator, where if you have an idea, we actually have 5 different companies in the Primed holding right now. Mm-hmm. So we have a crypto business that's running well. We run a mining operation. We're also developing software in the crypto area. We develop another app that's around children education for early English children education for children from 4 to 8. So basically, when as your second language as a child, you want to learn English. Or for parents, that's something we're developing right now, which is going to launch this year. Yeah, this year. It's 2018 already. And then I am creating a creative space, a hub here in Vienna on around 17,000 square feet with lots of different companies, lots of people that are, in my opinion, quite excellent, getting different people from different areas in. So just building this kind of infrastructure, a network of connected people to get Vienna a little more international. And Prime Mind is one of these projects that we're working on, basically. And so now, I mean, it is an amazing journey, because we learned so many things about, I mean, we had no clue in the beginning, and then we learned so many things about project management, marketing, HR, accounting, legal stuff, like all these different areas you dive into, and you're like, okay, how do we do this? And then it's just super fun to learn all these things. So that's what my focus is on lately.
That's it, huh? Just that? That's it?
That's it.
Doesn't seem like too overwhelming kind of things right there. How does poker and Poker Friends or Poker World, how does that fit in with all those projects?
Mm-hmm. I wrote that in a tweet lately, because I think I don't know who wrote it. Jason, I think. That I spent maybe 5 or 10% max on poker these days. So I used to plan actually less, and then they come up with these crazy poker tournaments that I feel like I gotta play. But my plan really right now is I probably only gonna play schedules where the buy-in is maybe 300K plus, so like a couple 100Ks or 300K, or the $1 million one drop this year. So there's a couple tourneys, and I think that will become less and less the more I get hooked into these projects here. And I think also the more the size grows, because before it was okay, poker was still significantly bigger than what we're doing here. So it still made sense for me, also financially, to just go and play these big tournaments. And I think in maybe 2-3 years down the road, it might be 1-2 tournaments a year, and that's it. So that's how poker. I mean, friends, it's still really nice to see them, and I think that's exactly a good. We basically see each other every 2-3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to catch up with them and see them again. They're still pretty good friends.
So have you kind of met a lot of new people out there, and now those people are kind of the new people you talk with often that sort of replace the poker group of friends?
I wouldn't say replaced. I think it's just a different type of connection. I think there's really strong friendships, and then I think there's also this content that cultivates the friendship. So when we were playing poker, I mean, naturally, I think 3 years ago we were just talking, like, both our contents were 100% poker, so we just connected all the time. And then I think their content is less. I mean, some of them don't really want to talk about poker hands and theory and anything anymore. And I think they're orienting in different things, and I'm heavily oriented into different areas. And I think when the interest doesn't overlap so much, or when that base just isn't given, and you just have less to talk about. But that doesn't mean for me that I'm not a good friend, and that they're not good friends, or that we're not loyal. I think we have a pretty strong bond.
Yeah, I know for me, just kind of playing less poker and then doing more things outside of that, a lot of my poker friends are still pretty focused on poker. You have some guys doing their own things, but before we used to just chat for hours about the great game of Polynomial. Sometimes we're talking about the players, and I mean, a lot of those things have changed now with the ecosystem online for PLO cash games and even online poker in general. So it's like when you kind of get together with those people, the conversations are a little bit different. So
Yeah.
I find that I don't know, it's kind of bittersweet in a little bit. It's like it happens. We evolve, we get older, we mature, but at the same time, it is kind of, you think about those times when you just talked about all poker all the time, and now in your mind you're like, well, got to worry about managing this, or I got to worry about trying to build this, or trying to grow this, or do this, or do that, and kind of you have so many things in your mind, and then those sort of things go to the wayside a little bit.
Yeah, I think I never had the feeling that I don't have interesting or nice or good people around me. I think lately, at least, for the last 5, 6, 7 years, even now, I think the people that I spend a lot of time with right now, I mean, I think they're amazing. The team we have here in Vienna, I just love that team. I mean, it's lots of fun to work with them, and it's just a totally different input, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that's always going to be changing, because I think everyone has different paths in a certain way as well, and sometimes they are the same road for a long time, and sometimes for a shorter time. But that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate, because I definitely do.
You mentioned you got a girlfriend now, Fades. What's the story with this girlfriend?
She's here as well.
Uh-oh.
Now, I met her 9 months ago, roughly. We're together for 4 months now. Yeah, I'm very happy. We're having a good time. She's great.
Does she actually live in Vienna?
Yeah, she lives in Vienna. She studies here. Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't really known you to have an official girlfriend, Fedor. I've known you to
Don't say the wrong thing now, Joe.
I've known you, but I've never known you to have this official girlfriend. You think it was time now? You think it was like you got out of poker and now you're not traveling as much, so maybe you have more time to actually dedicate yourself to a relationship?
It was not that conscious of a thought. I met her. She's amazing. I like spending time with her, and that just fit. I mean, I think to me, it's a relationship is Not that, okay, I need a relationship now, or I want this now. I have to have a relationship now. To me, it's more if I really like to spend time with someone, then that is a relationship, I guess.
Yeah, I think I know for me, I was not. I had some relationships when I was heavy focused on poker, but I was certainly not committed to those relationships very strongly. It was more like poker was number 1, 3, 7, 2, 4, 6. And then like the girlfriend was maybe like the 8th thing in my mind. And I tried to be open about that, but maybe sometimes I didn't communicate that well. But then I noticed I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm actually ready for a relationship to try it. And maybe not a good idea in retrospect in theory, but yeah, man, I don't know if the young prince might be finding the young queen over there. He might be getting married sometime soon, huh, Fedor? Little Fedor is little Fedor in the cards here.
I'd like to have kids at some point. I like the idea, but I haven't planned it, and I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's smarter, in my case, to have kids later on, and so yeah, I'm not pushing it too much now.
Sounds like a good thing, guys. We got a lot of comments out there, a lot of people in the chat. What's going on, man? Appreciate you guys tuning in live. We're back hard on the podcast grind. I took about 8 months off, but now I'm done playing around with this podcast. I'm getting back after it, man. And
playing some No Limit Hold'em tournaments.
No, I'm not. I'm not looking to play. You're right. Actually, the reason I'm doing so many podcasts is because I don't want to play No Limit Hold'em tournaments. That's actually very accurate. The thought of playing I don't know. I got to be honest, Fedor. I've been getting a little more excited talking with D. Peters, talking with Dominic, and kind of just hearing their enthusiasm for 2-card pot.
Oh God, there's nobody more enthusiastic than Dominic. It's everyone at their, it's 1 a.m. and everyone's at the dinner table, and Dom is just, hey guys, have you seen this? Like, I looked at this hand and it's just, it's so sick. And everyone's just, stop, please, stop. But yeah, he's. It's amazing. He's really excited about what he's doing. That's great.
Yeah, I get fired up talking with them, and I'm like, man, okay, I kind of want to go play No Limit Hold'em tournaments. Plus, at one point in time in my life, I would like to understand ICM. I know that you've taught me it very well over the years, but I don't think I fully comprehend ICM yet. So, I think before I retire from poker, I'd like to at least understand ICM.
I dare you to play 25,000 No Limit Hold'em tournaments.
Okay, define dare.
I just want to see it.
I think I would need to learn how to play tournaments first. I don't stop in 25K tournaments. You know what I'm saying?
You would be an amazing life grinder, though. You would just love it.
What do you think about that? What do you think about these rake changes on the tournaments, Fedor? You see these things? They raise the rake at the small and micro stakes tournaments under $20 on PokerStars. You got any thoughts on that, on those changes? Because I know that you're working with Party Poker in some capacity. It's not a team pro, but it's a professional player council, something like that. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm in the panel. I advise them. I think what Party is doing for poker itself is just really good. I think that's what others should do as well, but it's better for them that they're the only one doing it. I actually don't have a strong opinion on it. I don't really know why they did it. I can just assume. Over a year ago, I think my assumption was that I think that Stars just wants to increase the lifetime value of their players by getting rid of winning players, basically. I think a lot of it is probably just a math equation of thinking about, okay, what's the life cycle? What's how much can you recycle a certain amount of money? Because basically what you want to do is, okay, someone cashes in $20, you want to have these $20 straight to the bank, right? Like at least that's what I think they want, is they just want these $20, all of it. And so the worst for them is if that person pays 70 cents rake and then these $19.30 go to the professional.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they believe that poker is not gonna grow over the next X years, and they think the future is gambling. From a financial standpoint or a business standpoint, it might be the best bet to just go with, okay, let's slowly get the people into gambling mode, and let's kill the professional game around it. I think it has implications. I think they're underestimating the implications, but from an analytical standpoint, I think they've probably researched this. I hope they've researched this for the sake of their business.
I got to be honest with you, bro. I don't think I don't from seeing their past and history with other companies with having on game. I mean, I don't know what exactly their research is, but I highly doubt it's this deep fucking. They're going over the spread. All right, we got 30 cents here. You know, like Negrano was talking about. They're on a spreadsheet finding holes and where they can make more money. I'm not going to give these guys that much credit. You know, I've obviously they're very smart people. I mean, shout out to my boy David Bazoff, currently facing that are trading charges, unfortunately. But I David Bazoff, I want to get him on the podcast. This guy's a legend. I feel like he's the big driving force behind all of these changes, the acquisition of PokerStars to begin with.
Oh yeah, I think he had pretty specific plans. I mean, I'm not exactly sure about the background, but I think he put out a private bid for Stars at some point. I think, or
right.
If I remember correctly. I mean, it just makes so much sense to run a business down, put in a bid, buy it, make 10x profit. You know, it's just it makes sense to fuck up things and then buy it yourself, kind of, if you know that you can fix them in a year's time or something. But yeah,
he still made hundreds of millions of dollars from PokerStars, and yeah, I don't know, man. Obviously, right now he is like I said, he is facing those insider trading allegations, which he didn't actually make money directly from it for what he's being charged for. It's people that are close to him and family members and friends of those people that he allegedly told this information to, and then those people profited from it. So he's facing insider trading allegations related to that. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's actually not for that much money, which it's over $1 million. But I think when you hear insider trading, you think, oh, he must have made tens of millions of dollars from this, when in actuality, what he's being charged for, he didn't actually profit from that directly. So I don't know. It's a very weird situation, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Stars group over these next few years, exactly what changes they make, because they introduced the new game Split Hold'em today. Obviously, they lowered the rate at time tournament. What do you think? You see these time tournaments, Fedor? You see these things?
Sounds super dumb.
So basically, well, it's either last 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes, and at the end of that time, they pay out money depending on how many chips you have. So everyone can make money potentially if they're still in it. But it's also, you start with 15 to 20 big blinds, and it's 5-minute turbo levels.
Sounds silly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all just some kind of sort of gambling, and that's okay. I mean, there's probably some edge in there. I don't know, but I like good old poker, you know?
I mean, so I guess when you see this personally, and then you kind of go into other worlds with building companies, with entrepreneurship, and you see cryptocurrency as well, and when you see what's happening in those spaces, which seem to be much different than the poker world, does that make you look back at the poker world and say, well, why am I spending my time in this world for, when all of the ideas are sort of going one way, whereas in my other spaces, I feel like they're going a much more positive way, or a better way, or just something that is more interesting to you?
I'm not sure if they're going in such a more positive way. I think it's just different. I think also in business, I mean, all these, I think it depends what kind of perspective you have on things and how you frame it and how you want to see it. In business, I think you can also make the argument most of the people are in business because they want to make money with it. And most of the businesses that run, that money is not being created out of thin air, but it's coming from somewhere else. A lot of these B2C businesses, if it's any digital B2C business, most of them aren't adding such significant value. There's a good argument to be made that they're actually costing. It's a worse than a zero-sum game, because they're taking the EV from somewhere else, right? So if you're an online bookstore and all bookstores die and now everyone is ordering online, that's good for the online bookstore, not so good for the bookstores. And that's, I think, then obviously there's the argument to be made that based on that, they create more value, and it's the smarter way to go, and it's the future, and so on. But then also there's other areas where I think people are actually destroying economies because they're short term creating something, a bubble or whatever, that's going to explode, and then both businesses are destroyed basically. So you're destroying the existing businesses, they go out of business, and then you go out of business, and then it creates a certain hole. I think in the end it will always create progress. That hole will be filled, new people come up, new technology, and so on. But I think people that say that they create significant value, that is mostly coming from somewhere. I think companies that I very much respect, I see as those that really create added value that hasn't been there before, and think of a long-term vision, a healthy long-term vision, how they can develop and be sustainable. I think that's what I value. That's what I like.
You mentioned the bookstore thing, and I just listened to something the other day about how the live bookstores are actually making a comeback because all the chain bookstores, a lot of those went out of business. Now the smaller bookstores are actually making a little bit of rise again. So, on the bookstore topic, I don't know why I was thinking about that, because I was looking up something about books, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a fascinating thing. But I guess when you talked about there are spaces where they destroy ecosystems, do any particular thing come to mind? Is there anything you're basing that off of?
I mean, I didn't do specific research on this. I mean, there's lots of every company that says it's disrupting, right? It's so if you look at Uber, I mean, they're destroying the cab business, or if you look at it that way, it's not. They're also creating a lot of added value, I think. I mean, if you compare cab fares to Uber rides, I think there's over 70% of the Uber rides are extra rides and not stolen. But there's basically every digital technology in some way is taking from some old economy, or any company is taking from others, and there's lots of overlap. I don't think of something specific. I just think people are praising themselves too much by saying that they created something or add value, where I think they're forgetting that their value is coming from somewhere. I think because you asked me what's different to poker, or how that it's so different, I think that's a big similarity also in poker. There it's just clearer. It's just very, very clear that money is coming from someone. And I think in business it's just a little more mixed up and pieced together, and it's harder to see.
So I guess working with Party Poker, why did you decide to want to get together with them and be a part of their player council? What did you see about what they're doing that you liked?
Where should I start? I think they're actually putting effort into poker. And not from a sense of, okay, we just want to see, okay, how can we squeeze this? Or they're actually putting money into it now, money and effort and lots of time to see it grow over the course of 5 years. So they're saying, okay, we want to be the biggest poker site, and we're going to profit when we're there, because we will offer something that no one else offers, because no one else is offering it. And now we have to invest in the players, and we have to show them that we're there and that they can trust us. And I think they're doing that. I mean, they're putting together the biggest live series. They're updating the software. They're creating games that just disappeared and make them reappear. They're caring for players. I think there's this. I feel like that is just it's an ambitious goal, and I'm happy to be part of that.
I guess, what do you feel like you could do outside of, if they ask you a question? Do you feel like, are you going to be more active in potentially promoting the brand on content or social media, or doing something with the site, or are you more in a role where if they have a question or if they have something for the panel, they'll get you guys together?
I think they're doing a very good job of asking the community. I think that's actually been a resource that is basically free, that lots of other sites didn't understand. I feel like it's this, that the opinion is mostly okay. They're the recreationals and they're the pros. So if you want to find out something for the recreationals, we have to decide ourselves because the pros don't understand the recreationals, and they will make decisions. That's not how it works. Like we're together. We play with these guys day in and day out. We hear all this stuff. We also actually, I think pros see better what sucks for recreationals than how the people see it that run the tournaments. They also see things for sure, but not asking us because we want recreationals to have the best experience as well. Because on the one side, it means that we're gonna have the best experience on an emotional level, and also on the other side, it means that we have the best experience from a profit side. So it just doesn't. It's just plain dumb, in my opinion, to not consult the professionals that have profound insights into the game, the strategy. Like if people would have asked us about structures and super high rollers, we would have been very happy to provide them years ago. And then they try these things out themselves, and they just do things, and then I think it's a new trend. More like people do that great at Aria, people do that great at Party now, where they're just, hey, there's something we don't know that much about. Let's ask these players. And so I had lots of talks with Rob about the super high roller structures, the main event structures, which days, which tournament on, what makes sense. And there's certain things like this tournament should be then, because then you have the best experience for a player that plays a $500 average buy-in, but also for one that plays a $3K average buy-in, and for one that plays a $20,000 average buy-in. And when should you do breaks? How long should the breaks be? And which, there's certain things you just know. Okay, there's this venue. You have very few toilets. That's why you need a longer break. And then there's this venue where you can just do 7 minutes. No, I mean, it's just things where random stuff, but it's so annoying when this is wrong for the series, and it's wrong every single year.
Right, like when the toilets are broken for an entire summer. That's probably not a good thing. Poker.
But it's just so beyond my understanding how this is not something where you understand, okay, what's the opportunity cost and how much does it cost me to fix it? And if the costing to fix it is like 15 minutes of your time to consult with a player or 5 players, and then you can still decide to ignore their opinion. But the upside is hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you're bringing the series out to thousands of players that might come back or might not come back, that will play on your online side or will not play on their online side. I mean, then I just don't understand.
Is there a specific thing you're referencing right now when something that's happened with another site or something like that?
There's so many small things that I just don't. I think it was mostly structures of tournaments, payouts. I mean, when Stars implemented, just one thing that came to mind, when Stars implemented 20% payouts or something. Mm-hmm. And they were just, okay, we do this for all tournaments, and then we do this for these tournaments. And then a half a year later, oh, this doesn't work, let's go back to this. Do a survey. I think they did a survey then. I'm not sure if they did it before or after, but like they implemented it. Everyone was annoyed by it. Even the recreationals were annoyed by it. And then they did the survey, and then they changed it back. There's just certain practices I really don't understand, and there's lots of smaller things where the way people are being treated differently. It's just lots of different things where I think if you talk to the players and you really actively listen to their opinion, I think you get lots of free people that cooperate with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think PokerStars used to be a place that they listened to the players and listened to what they suggested and they added, and I don't think that's happening anymore. I don't believe it to be the case. I don't believe they are listening to. I believe they might be listening a very small percentage of the time, but they're mostly going off of whatever it is with these spreadsheets and these sorts of things that they're in the back room going over. So it is very disappointing to see. I think it is cool to see. Obviously, Party Poker, 8-A Poker trying to make a little bit of a rise here, and I mean, I don't know exactly if if Party Poker, 8-day poker are much better options to play on than PokerStars myself, but I would suggest people at least try these sites out, give them a chance and see, because we see where things are going with PokerStars. We see where they're trying to go. Little by little, as you said earlier, little by little, they're trying to make it more of gambling and less of poker. So the more that you support that, the more I feel like the more you're contributing to that sort of change in poker and what they're trying to make poker mean. So, and I find that unfortunate myself, that that's the direction that they're kind of going. So,
rip.
I know. All right, it makes you sad. I'm a crowd. I mean, I'm not gonna cry. They still got Potluck in Omaha. They're gonna add 2-board Potluck in Omaha soon. So if you can play 2 boards of Potluck in Omaha, it's gotta be a good thing. People in the chat are fired. Why do they keep about? Do you even know Viffer? Do you know Viffer? You heard of Viffer before?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Do you have a Viffer story? We haven't had a Viffer story in a long time.
I've never seen him in my life, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
On your pod.
Do you have a Phil Ivey story?
Yeah, I have a Phil Ivey story. Oh my god. He came in to the 300K, I think 1 or 2 hours late. And he came in, and then the tournament director was standing there, and he came in, and he's just, yo, is this a tournament? Am I right here? Then he goes over. Yeah, it's right here. Oh yeah, Mr. Ivy, here's your seat. Da, da, da. He's like, okay. Just sits down, puts in his earphones, and then he antes wrong for 5 hours straight. I think he was big blind 20 times plus, and every single time he puts in the wrong chip. It was just, I'm not sure if it was one of his trolls or whatever, but first he puts in 1 chip, then he puts 2, then 3, then 2 of this, 1 of this. He was just throwing in chips, and at some point he was just giving up and just put it. I don't know what happened to him. He seemed to be in an interesting place, and he was for sure he was not on the highest point of his career, I think.
You think the Macau cash game lifestyle might be getting to him a little bit?
I don't know. He just seemed tired, exhausted. I don't know. I have no relationship with him, so I don't know what he's up to, but yeah.
Damn. I mean, I know that he's been playing a lot of cash games allegedly in over in Macau and in China in general. I think Asia. I don't know if necessarily Macau specifically, maybe Manila, but yeah, it's kind of wild to think about. What about you play with Patrick Antonius? Was that your first time ever playing with Patrick Antonius?
No, I played with him before, but yeah, he had a good run. He had some good cards, some good bluffs.
What is that? I feel like I'm missing something here. What's the bang bang? I feel like that was a bang bang.
No. I just think someone posted me the link where he had a straight against me. I think he made some crazy plays on the final table. I just watched the stream quality was somehow weird from me. I just watched some hands, and he has some tricks. He definitely played. He outplayed some people there. He put on a show for sure. He crushed.
Wow. I didn't know about this show. I have to go back and watch more of the final table, I guess. I want to see the show too. Yeah, I'm trying to see the show. What's coming up here with these next few months? So you mentioned you're going to be traveling to Party Poker Barcelona and then Super High Roller Bowl here, but also you have what you're doing with your projects. You know, what's sort of like your approach to managing these next few months?
I mean, first, I didn't get lucky for the Super High Roller Bowl, so I was planning on it because I didn't think of the lottery. But now I hope that they choose me for one of the spots.
All right, calm down, Fedor. Let's assume you're going to play, okay?
I hope so.
Let's just assume. I'm going to go out on a limb, okay? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say I think you're going to be one of the people that they're going to select in the 16.
I hope so. I'm just, just don't want to. It's okay if they want to see, Doug Polk more than me. That's okay. It's okay. Okay. Or
you think they want to see Doug Polk more than you?
I would understand. I think Doug Polka has a lot more fans than me. No, but I think I might get one of the other 15 spots.
Do you think Doug Polk has more fans than you? Is that actually? I don't necessarily. I'm not sure about that.
I think he has more hardcore fans than I do. Yeah, I think I've probably a broader audience.
Because listen, I was on the plane a couple months back, and I was talking to some guy. He's like, "I like poker." I'm like, "Who's your favorite poker player?" He's like, "I like that one guy, Holz, Fedor Holz." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Fedor Holz is your favorite?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like a random American guy in the middle seat in my plane talking about Fedor Holz. I'm like, Fedor Holz, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know the random Americans loved Fedor Holz so much, man. So I think like it
surprises me as well. It's kind of I don't know. I think because in Vienna and in Europe, nobody ever talks to me. It's just once in a couple of months thing. And then when I get somewhere else, it's really. I mean, China is really insane. And then also Vegas is okay, but intense in poker venues.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't. I don't know. I think it's different when you're someone that is geographically being recognized, or when you're someone that is generally being recognized. I just can't imagine being someone. If I would get recognized like that in every day, I would no.
Mm-hmm.
I would move somewhere to South America. I could not handle that.
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. I almost can't imagine how some of these like actual celebrities feel with I couldn't imagine not being able to walk down the strip or walk outside and not get bombarded with people staring and asking for photos and that sort of thing.
That was a very interesting moment. I met Kevin Spacey in Munich last year.
Uh-oh.
And no, but back then.
Okay.
Before everything happened.
Okay.
And okay, I gotta watch out what I say now. No, but everyone was around him, and there were tons of people, pictures, and talking to him, and so on. And at that moment, I was okay. I didn't talk to him, and I just didn't want to be, because I felt the other way around. I wouldn't want it myself. So he probably would have liked it. I don't know.
He might have liked you, Fedor. He might have liked you, buddy. He might have been wrong here. He might have been. I might invite you back to the hotel or something. Like I don't know.
He was staring over, but I don't know.
He was looking at you, wasn't he? Okay, it's what happens, man. It happens. Were you wearing those glasses and that white shirt? I understand why he was staring at you.
Let's change topic, Joe.
Not only do we get a Phil Ivey, we get a Kevin Spacey story here. Only Fedor can merge his story range quite that well. So. But yeah, these next few months coming up, what's the approach?
How
do you balance things? How do you like week to week? How do you sort of take things here?
So I've actually quite a filled calendar these days. So mostly, I would say when I'm in Vienna, it's mixed up. It's always different things I do, but it's mostly I meet, I would say, maybe a significant amount per week. I meet people, especially around the place I'm building here in Vienna. I'm buying a building here, renovating it from the ground up, want to get partners in. So basically the idea is, okay, I want to have the best lawyer in, the best tax advisor, some really cool startups, and then also some co-working area. So there's some turnover of people, some creatives coming in, also some international relationships so that we can have education sessions. Working together with some cool digital universities. So there's lots of people that I'm talking to and that I want to have in some capacity. And also, all the whole design, the architecture I'm researching, the scientifics behind the best working environment. So what kind of what kind of temperature.
I love Fedor.
I want to do this right,
I just love it's crazy. It's crazy hearing you. It's crazy hearing you talk about these things, man. It's wild. It's wild. The life transition. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man. A few years ago, we were talking here. You were like 18, 19. I don't even remember. You were young, man. You were super young. You just get into poker, man, And now you're talking about buying a building and turning it into a bunch of different companies working there, and then adding a co-working space in there, and then talking about international studies. It's like the transition of things. I feel like I should put it together in one video of like the transition between you on these different podcasts. Just it's crazy to see.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I actually, I think if you listen at the core of what I'm saying, I don't think it changed too much. I think it's just things that I'm very excited by, and it's with people that I like. I think every time we've been talking also about the people I'm surrounded with or the people I'm working with. I think network, again, I've probably said that every podcast. I think my network is the most valuable asset I have. And I don't mean that in a materialistic way, just more in I just value it highly. And I see that even more so now, having a team and having people that I can trust and rely on. And I can go on holidays for 4 weeks and things keep going and keep growing and people keep doing things. And it's just amazing to me to come back and see this happening. And it's just very, very it's very inspiring to me to feel that I'm part of that. Not necessarily that I built this, but that I can be part of this. Because I feel to every person I can add something, to every project I have some experience, some people I know, something I can throw in the mix. And that makes me very happy. I'm very happy here. Yeah.
Shout out to Vienna, man. Sounds like okay. So I interrupted you when you were talking about building space. I get fired up. I was like, damn. Yeah. I was like, I kind of want to go to every time I tell you I want to go to Vienna, but then I think about I'm like, why? Then I'm crazy. So it is what it is. But okay, get back after that.
This is the space I'm building. So the idea behind it is to plant this in Vienna, because I think Vienna has this amazing infrastructure and some really amazing singled out people where it's more this hidden layer. They meet up and they have these strong connections, but there's very little things going on the surface. In Berlin, I feel it's way more very lots of things happening on the surface and lots of interactions and so much crazy stuff going on. And here in Vienna, everything is calm on the surface, but down below the things happen. So I want to get things more to the surface, and I want to give these people exposure and get them out there, but also get international people and mix up things. So that's what I'm missing here in Vienna a bit. This is okay. Let's actually, do shit. Let's just get on with this and let's drive this and let's connect this internationally. Let's talk to these people and talk to these people. So the biggest reason why I want to do this is on the one side, I really think the setting has a huge impact on productivity. On the one side, how you communicate, interact with people. Then how you're being stimulated. I think seeing different things, personally, it helps me so much, and I've seen it doing great things to other people. So just this thing of going down into the workshop and building something for an hour. Something I never do. I never build stuff with my hands. I never create something out of material. Just that gives me a totally different frame, and then I can go back into that, and I feel I'm way better at this, what I've done before. Or, totally random things. Just watching someone being passionate about a completely different area. Getting into 3D visualization. So I see that person that is so skilled at one of the best people, and you can watch that person work with CAD and see how they're designing this new apartment, and that gives me new ideas about another project I'm working in, or how we can design this. And it's just I could go on with hundreds of these examples, and that's why I think the place is so important in terms of productivity. And then also for resources, human resources, HR and people in the team, because what we feel is we do this, we have actually quite a long recruiting period. So we have basically, we call this the core of the company. So it's people that are shareholders. A lot of people in our company are actually shareholders of the whole holding. So they have a share of every single activity we do. So they are incentivized to help each project, to think about it, to share the knowledge and so on. And then all the other people, we're still on the same level. There's no, okay, we make the decisions and you don't. It's just more what we do is the strategic decisions for the company also makes sense to me. If you're a shareholder, then you have a say in where we're strategically going. And then I wouldn't say there is a difference between these two groups though. So it's like then we have people that are that we're working with and our team, and I mean that finding the right people there is just, in my opinion, is the most important thing. I think you can do something and don't care about what you're actually doing for the first 1 to 3 years, as long as you just look at building a strong connection to great people. I think that's the more important asset than actually building a cool product. So yeah, that was my learning, is getting in touch with new people and seeing where you naturally gravitate towards, especially when there's a group of 150 people or 200 people and you just talk to some, and then you work together in the same building for 6 months and you just see, oh, that person, somehow I connect with that person. And that, I think that starts great relationships. So that's my plan.
I guess if that's, you must meet a lot of people, then you must meet a lot of people that you want to connect with or that you want to talk with more or spend time with more. Then I guess how do you decide? Is it just like a natural thing? You decide, okay, I'll talk with this person more. I might get more from this person, or maybe you feel a connection more with this person. Like how do you go upon doing that if you're meeting so many different people who are all probably pretty great in their own ways?
Poker helped. That is very interesting now, how I feel I'm getting a bit tired of certain things. I'm getting quite tired. Also tired of things that I do myself. I don't want to be in these relationships anymore where I feel I have to spend energy for that to work. And by work, I just mean by spending time with a person. Sometimes everyone knows that, I think, when you feel you have to play a certain role, you're thinking about what you're saying, you're thinking about how you look, how you come across. I just feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I've done this so much in poker, thinking about how I come across, what I say, thinking about everything you do, basically. I feel like your brain becomes, okay, the EV of every single move you do. And now it's more, okay, I want to be around people where I just totally let go of this and know that I don't get judged if I just behave honest and natural and I just follow the flow and what I want to do. And that is one of the key elements I look for, is if I feel that whatever that person does, actually, it doesn't matter what area they're in or what they're doing. If I feel I can have a natural flow with someone, then I like to spend time with them. And if I don't feel that, then I just slowly disengage.
Does something particular come to mind when you think about poker? Because it's kind of an interesting thought to think about. I haven't thought about that before.
I think it also highly varies depending on what position you're in. My position changed drastically over the years. At first, I was unknown, and it was more an online thing. I think also online it happens where, what do you write? How do you come across? And you want to be someone in the community. What does that person think of me? I think a lot of, I remember these times where it was, oh, this guy said you sucked, and then you felt bad because he has a good status in the community. Things like this, there was a lot of shit talking, and so that's one side. But then in person, I think it becomes very significant as well. What do people? I remember reading posts about me where people hate, shit posts, hate posts. It still in some way hurts. It hurt me. And then I realized that it is a process of me realizing that their definition of me is not me. And that is something that goes really far back into my childhood and how I grew up. And I realized that it triggers emotions in me that this thought of, okay, I'm not good enough. And I think that's also the reason why I propelled so high in poker, is because it was, okay, I'm here, but it's still not good. People still think I'm not good enough. And then I pushed myself further, and I kept on grinding, and I kept on learning. And through that, I didn't really resolve this actual issue I had, but I was more building things on top of it. So I think that also explains why when I reached the top, where nobody could say anymore, okay, you're not good enough, because there's no more room to grow into, or to nobody I should compete against. Then I realized, okay, this feeling is still not gone. I still feel not full, I still feel I have to be better in some way. And then I realized, okay, maybe this is something totally different. Maybe I just have to go and figure this out for myself. And maybe focusing myself so much on the outside and how I'm being defined by the outside is not what I want to focus on. And that basically led to the realization that it isn't. And then at a point I was, okay, that actually led to me just not enjoying the grind so much anymore. And now the thing I enjoy is playing the game and seeing friends and having a chat and just competing for fun. But I just don't feel I have to prove myself in that regard anymore.
So you don't think that need, I guess the desire to want to prove yourself and kind of dealing with feedback like that is still present in the areas that you're venturing into now?
I think it's always present. I don't think I solved this issue. I actually think it's one of the deepest things in me, as this urge to, or this question, or this feeling of, okay, I'm not good enough. And I think that leads to lots of different things and insecurities that I have when it's basically whenever someone judges me in a certain way. And I think I just process that in a different way than other people, and I probably process it more emotionally, and I question myself as a result. So if someone says, and then it depends on where do I rank that person. So I obviously became better through time at, okay, if it's someone that is an internet name, then I would just, okay, whatever. But if it's someone in a closer circle and he's questioning me in some way, then I really take that to heart and really, okay, why does he say that? What does he mean? And in a lot of ways, it's just overthinking it. And what I see now is this transition, where I transition more into the thought of it's more a projection of themselves. It's more something they see in themselves, or I see it in myself as well. When things I don't like about other people are things that I'm not happy with myself most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it's I think a realization process, and yeah.
So
there she goes.
I guess on one hand we could say that it's actually a positive in a lot of ways, because without this fuel, without this added motivation that you get from comments like that, or from reading things like that, or from someone saying something, and even your own self-doubt of wondering if you're good enough, maybe without that you wouldn't have got to the position that you're at now, and that ultimately might be one of your biggest positives, is actually having that drive and that determination that you gain from that. Have you ever thought about that?
Oh, for sure. I think in the end, it's interesting to see how even experiences that are quite painful in the short term turn out to be very valuable experiences in the long term. But also the other way around, things that you think are amazing right now turn out to be and then I feel what that led to for me is just that things are less meaningful, or meaningful is the wrong word, but just when something seems very bad, then I just take more time to think about it and give it a thought, and maybe it will be, even if it's feeling bad right now, maybe it will be useful for me later on, and that definitely helped me a lot.
So at some point, do you imagine that you might go, I guess, do something that's a little bit less public, where you don't deal with comments or feedback or anything like that?
I think it already kind of happened in my mind. I think at first I pushed it because I was looking for it, and now it's more a thing where I think I mean I believe I could push it a lot harder. I could push for getting out there. I mean, raising my brand, the awareness of people about, like, I don't know, publish a book or do whatever, poker course.
Oh, I heard about that. I know what that's reference to.
No, but I'm not saying that's
Please
bad.
do that, Fedor. Hey, that'd be good for me. So please do that, please.
Yeah, I think.
Please, Fedor.
Do you have a bet?
No. It would just be good for business. It would be good for business,
Okay.
Fedor, if you did that. So it'd be good.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying. I think now I also on Instagram and stuff. I do it more because I think it's just fun. I just like gathering pictures there. I like going through there and seeing, oh, this is what I've done, or this is where I've been, and it's just nice to see that as a memory. And I think also some people, for them, it's nice to see what I'm up to. And yeah, I think I see it very different now. I don't use Facebook anymore. I just use Twitter from time to time to share some stuff or to troll. And then
yes, or make some witty comment about Bitcoin, or talk about selling all your selling everything you own to buy more Bitcoin, stuff like that.
That was a good call though, right? I mean, it went up from there. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the bottom.
You said sell everything you own and buy Bit. You said that. Okay, remember that.
Yeah, you got to watch out with that. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I actually, through that experience of poker, I realized, okay, fame is really not what I want to go after. I think it's more noise, actually. Like, let's say like that. I don't want to go for noise, and I think fame mostly leads to noise, as long as if you're not managing it well. And I don't feel that's really what I want. It actually it gave me great opportunities, though. I think connecting with people.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it does give you a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, there's that's why I like to have it the way it is. Also, as there's a certain foot in the door to meet people that I think where there's great win-win situations, cool conversations coming up. So it's nice in some way, but then also, I don't want to be famous. I don't need to be famous.
Yeah, I think it's about kind of trying able to block out that, like you mentioned, it's a lot of noise, but there are a lot of good things and good introductions, people that you meet, interesting people that you meet, people that inspire you that you might not ever meet if it wasn't the case. But then there is a lot of other stuff from this side. So yeah, it's kind of blocking that out. I mean, that's the challenge. I don't know. That's a big challenge, I think.
Yeah, I don't even think it's necessarily blocking it out. It's also just filtering it in a way. I mean, there's a lot of people where I think it's cool. I don't think it's everything is bad. If there's people where they take inspiration out of it. I remember sitting there 2010 10 or 11 in Barcelona with $1,000 to my name and staring at poker pros that walk by. I can totally understand these emotions. So I'm not judging them. I just think, for myself, I feel they just see their single interaction, and I see all the sum of the interactions, and then obviously I draw the line for me at a certain point.
Yeah, I think seeing people in real life compared to just hearing what they say online, for me, like when I read comments online, positive or negative, they don't really necessarily, I'll forget about them within a few minutes, unless it's something very it's deeper, then I'll think about it for like 25 minutes. But in person, I don't know, man. I just realized, like, I'm never gonna meet these motherfucking people, man. That's kind of what my big takeaway is. Like, I see so many comments, so many messages. Most of them are positive, sometimes bad, but it's like I'm never gonna see these guys. So it's like, I mean, I used to use it. It used to be a very big motivator for me too. And when back in the day, and there was like a site. You ever heard of Poker Table Ratings, Fedor? You ever heard of this site?
Yes.
One of the most legendary sites of all time, where it would track your results on there. It would have a score for you on your results. Like you might be 70, 42. And I was like a 24 table guy, because I was trying to go for Supernova Elite. So I was breaking even playing. And people, I got the meanest comment. They're like, you fucking suck. You can't beat the game. It was like, I battled in comments all day long on fucking PTR and on 2+2. Not as bad on 2+2, but still, there was always that thing. But that that was the most motivating thing ever for me, really, was just reading that. And like, yeah, you kind of like think, okay, are they right? Is that true? And then I think it fueled me more and more and more. And I feel like I don't take as much or really much any at all motivation out of comments like that. And I wish I did a little bit more, but yeah, I'm not sure if that just comes in time or if that comes from realizing like you're never going to see the people. It really doesn't matter what a lot of these people say to you if they're coming at you from a negative standpoint online.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Somebody said they're my neighbor. No, you're not my fucking neighbor, Andrell. Calm down. I do not 24 table for life. I don't think that's actually possible. But yeah, guys, let's get some questions from the chat here, man. You have some shout outs, Fedor? You got a shout out to give? You want to say what up?
No shout outs right now. No shout outs. I mean, actually, yeah, shout outs to all the people still hanging in there, grinding. Yeah.
Yeah. A thought, a finisher to that?
No, I was just thinking, it just flashed back to the time when I was nonstop thinking of poker, and that wasn't I'm still looking for that thing. I think Primed or a project within Primed. I think that will happen kind of soon. Assembling a team now. We have some really cool projects going on. I'm getting more and more into AI, the place I'm building now. So I think the next 1 to 3 years, I'll get on something with larger scale, I hope. I'm quite certain, actually. So we're building rockets.
For fuck's sakes. Listen, Fedor, if you launch a fucking rocket, okay? I don't know. That's crazy.
I'd still come on your pod. Don't worry.
I'm telling you, it's going to be epic when you're president of a country one day, and we take it back 10, 15 years. And I'm serious, when we rewind the tape for the 15 years and we go from the start to the, it's going to be kind of a sick thing. You get to actually have this like snapshot of your life in a lot of ways for the past bunch of years. It's going to be pretty wild, man.
Pretty sick, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned about finding that same thing that you felt for poker. I mean, I feel the same way. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. And yeah, I feel like poker is such a unique thing, and I feel like you had that same love and passion and desire and desire to work at it, desire to conquer it that I think I had a lot of ways for a lot of years, and finding that in other things is tough, man. It's crazy because poker really challenged you in so many different areas of life and so many different qualities, and just it's I don't know. I don't know if it's out there, if it's something that's similar to poker out there really, but I don't know. It's just, that's kind of the big thing I've been wondering.
Yeah, but then again, I think it is possible. I for sure think it is. I mean, I'm certain. I mean, it's been 6-7 years now, and I think there's things that can fascinate you for a longer time. You know, I think I'm certain of it. I think this idea of working in a team and working in the same direction and trying to figure things out as a community, that's going to be something I'll be in for a long time, because this really fuels me. And also because every single day I feel how much more room there is. Whatever area I look at, every single day we just find things where we're just, wow, we can do this 10x bigger, 10x better. And it's not now, it's not just one area, but now it's this huge scale of things, and I'm excited. I can't wait for a podcast in 5 years where I talk to you about building schools and taking over the education sector. And
well, that goes back to remember the Africa thing you talked about. I don't know if that actually happened, about going to Africa and doing some volunteer work like that.
I don't think I ever planned Africa. But I was planning to go to Chile. And that unfortunately didn't happen. I've been to South America, but I donated to that place, but I haven't been there. And yeah, I still want to do that. I still haven't been to Chile. I'm still planning that, but it was kind of a bad connection, and then they had issues from their side, so it kind of fizzled out. And now I got to back on. Actually, that's a good point that you remind me. I want to get back on that idea.
Yeah, do you ever think that because you mentioned you hear so many ideas, right? And every time you hear an idea, well, it could be 10x better, it could be 10x this, could be 10x that. Do you ever feel like you hear so many ideas that sound good, but you know that you're going to continue hearing so many more good ideas that and they're also going to sound good, that when it comes down to choosing one or picking one, that might actually be a negative in some ways, but because you're getting so many different good ideas in there, do you feel like you'll be able to at one point pick out that excellent, amazing thing that's sort of just calling your name and yelling at you?
I actually think ideas are very misunderstood. The poor things. Um, it, I think an idea also. I mean, if you compare the idea of okay, um, we could create keyboards that are just 50% better than they are right now, or we could build rockets that you have to launch that we can go to Mars and build colonies there. Now, these are both viable ideas. And then people are, oh, this other idea is so much more amazing and this idea sucks. But I think you have to connect the energy to the energy input to the energy output. And I think that's where a lot of people stop. It's just this imagination of the end, and then there's nothing in between. And I feel most ideas, to me, the idea is also about the steps in between. Actually, I don't think the idea is only the thing of okay, where will we be, but it's also the things in between. So my idea is to build a team of 600 people funded through a company I launched before, and then we started contracts with the government, and then we build the first rocket, launch it there, and then we do. I think this is an idea that excites me a lot more because I can actually see the reality behind it. And that I think as a child, and also as a teenager and through my years, I was always getting disappointed by not being able to reach my ideas and not really setting them into scope. Okay, what do I have to do to get there? And it was mostly this, okay, I tried for a month and then I'm disappointed by where I've gotten or how little I've accomplished, and I was okay, I'm never going to make this, I stop. So now when we talk about this, I think it's an amazing idea to build rockets. It's just not an idea that fits for me. I don't have the skill set. I'm not that excited by it, but I like if someone else has the roadmap and wants to get it done and is excited by it. I just think there's just a very limited idea set actually for me that is in this area that I want to work on, and it requires certain next steps and certain things that you have to consider, I think. And yeah, I think that's a different way I think about ideas and what to do next and how to execute and what we will do. And I think it will be somewhere around education and learning, because that's something we're excited by, that's something I'm excited by. And I also think that the vision of it, that could be your idea. The vision, okay, we want to change the education system and offer an alternative. That then leads to, okay, next step is let's create a platform. Let's connect people. Let's learn. I mean, our first step was to learn how to do stuff first. I mean, before we even can do anything big, we didn't even have a clue how to set up a legal setup and found a company and hire people. We didn't even know how to do that. How can we build something huge if we don't know that? So basically, what I mean is, I'm trying to find the next step for us that makes sense.
I think that makes sense. Then you kind of just learning along the way. You're getting better at different little things that'll eventually help you out when you take that next step and take that next step and take that next step, and then don't really know what it might be yet, but
yeah,
but it'll be fascinating to kind of follow along.
So next step is to launch a place here in Vienna, get involved with AI, do something in crypto, push out our new version. Actually, Prime Mind, we're launching our new version next week. I already have it on my phone, testing the new version. It's completely new, rebranded. better UX, new courses, lots of stuff. It's like here. I don't know if you. I can give a teaser.
Wait, let's see.
Let me unplug this.
Oh.
So there's a new list, new design. I think looks pretty dope.
I like it. I've been known to prime my mind a little bit before certain things, for sure.
So check it out. I really think it's interesting because a lot of people there's controversy in certain ways. People saying different things about it. To me, it's just really this. Okay, we had an idea. We want to get it done. I think we got it done. I'm happy with the result. We're getting amazing ratings. I think some people enjoy it, and I totally understand if people don't enjoy it. I think it would be weird if every single person on the planet would use it. But I love that we get 5 messages a day, people telling us how to use it and how it helps them, and that's all. Then it's worth it, and I think that's a good step for us to kick it off.
What's the controversy? What are they upset about something?
No, I just understand that some people say, oh, it doesn't help me. It's not for me, and I think that's the same way. I use lots of apps and they're not for me, or I used Headspace and it wasn't for me. I didn't like Headspace, so it's just I think different preferences, and I totally understand that, and we're actually taking that as a challenge to try to understand. Okay, what is it? How can we improve this and see how we can create it so that it's good for everyone or good for as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be doing some audio yourself potentially with the new?
I never thought about it. I think it's this kind of line between it's actually a craft. Elliot has studied this,
right?
So I feel it's fine if you would copy it, but it's kind of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Then also elements from meditation and elements from coaching. So he's mixing them together to create this experience, and I'm interested in it. I want to do one piece at a certain point, but what I wanted to do is one that really hypes you. Actually, that's one of my next things. I would love feedback on that. So my idea is to one of these, because as a player, I used to watch these YouTube videos of Will Smith. If we are running, either you're gonna stop or I'm gonna die, and then he just it's just and then the Rocky Balboa and Muhammad Ali, and it's just this. For some reason, it just really kicked me, and I was okay. I'm just gonna focus now, and I'm gonna crush this. And I will never forget this moment. W Coupe main event. It was 13 players left, and I was 13 out of 13. And my friend was sitting there, and we're chilling, and it was late. And I told him I just need something now. I feel I'm not in the zone. I'm getting tired, and it's not really. Things are not really. And then we watched this video together, and it was exactly in the break, and it was exactly 5 minutes. And we just watched it full audio. It's just blasting in my face. And then he's never give up, and I was okay, yes. And then 5 hands later, I'm 1 out of 12. I think in 3 hands, under the gun +1. And I just tripled up with aces. I think ace king and then aces. It was just totally insane. And so I want to do something like that in 2 minutes, just really in your face with some really motivational music. It's like you can do this, and then before a workout or in between a session, you just let's get this. So yeah, that's my idea.
What's the name of the video that you mentioned? The 5-minute video?
Let me see.
I'll get some shout outs while you're finding the video. Oh, you got Big J in the chat, the hungry man, Mr. the Wizard, aka Jonas in the chat right now. What up, Big Poppy? What's happening? See him out there. I see Crush the Micros out there. What's up, Crush the Micros? I think you might be.
I think it's called Dream. I think that's it. Yeah, Dream. It's this guy Mateusz M. He does a lot of motivational videos. He's sick.
Found it. Perfect.
Oh yeah, or I Am a Champion. That's pretty insane too. If you haven't seen that, you have to watch this one.
I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna check them out behind, but before my game of Fortnite today, I'm gonna play these videos.
Go ahead. Okay, Joey, I gotta leave soon.
Okay, let's take a couple more questions. We'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Andrew L in the chat. Flower Fallon. What's up, Poppy? Yo. Christian Spazov. Xenon CS. Rabba. Jeffrey Rutland. What's up, guys? What's happening, man? Let me find a couple more questions. People asking about AI. They keep asking me about AI. What's up with AI and you, Fedor?
Oh, with AI?
Yeah.
We're building a trading algorithm with neural networks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
No, but that's what we're doing.
Okay, we'll revisit that later. My girl Kristen Mashman, what's up, Kristen? What's happening, man? I saw my girl Pamela Maldonado out there. What's up, Pamela? Let me go back here. Poker AI. Are you building Poker AI too?
No,
Poker AI. Okay. What do you think? If you can give a tip to somebody, like a idea for a routine or a habit they can implement into their life today that will potentially put them on a path to where they're trying to get to, what would be the thing you'd recommend to them?
Cold showers, one of the most positive and little things I changed lately. Ice cold showers. Whatever you can do. If you can do ice baths, even better. Or there's these ice outside. I don't know how to call it in English, but they do it in sports a lot. Soccer players, at least here in Europe, most of these first class teams, they have these big things where players, these ice tubs where players after sport can jump in. The recovery is insane. You recover a lot faster. Your muscles. I feel in the morning I do warm and then ice cold, and I've been doing that for a couple months now. Last month I haven't done it so much, but before I've been doing it for months straight, and huge change. I way more active. Just get into it right away. I feel I do it till I get comfortable with it. So it takes a minute or two. And then I feel I can tackle these things that you kind of don't want to do, and it's this and then I just do these in the morning, and then I have my head free. So I love the cold showers.
Do you do cold shower first, and then change the temperature in the shower as it going from warm to cold?
I just pull. The water here gets extremely cold. It's so cold that if you have it on your head too long, you get a headache. So it's really, really nicely cold. I start warm, wash my hair, and then I brush it off with ice cold water, and then 2 minutes roughly.
I tried these cold showers for a little while. That was cold. It was way too cold. I don't know. I think I needed to go a little bit less cold in there because I was going a little bit too cold. So definitely too cold. Someone said, "Are you playing the Trinidad Montenegro?" I don't know if I said that right. Actually, the Triton 1 million in Montenegro.
I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
Okay. Jonah asked a question. It was the exact same question I had. Cruster Micros, one of the last ones here. What was the biggest quantum leap that you've had while improving your multi-table tournament game? How did it make you feel?
Canada 2014, huge improvement. I organized a boot camp with all the guys, 10 people. We rented a house on an island, and we just locked ourselves in there for 5 weeks. Sickest experience of my life. Totally. It was. I entered. We got there. I was a good player. We left. I think, a world-class player.
So the grindhouse. You think that was? I mean, I guess you're trying. I guess you're trying to recreate that in a lot of ways with the new building.
Yeah.
I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. Guy, Worship, what do you want people to go check out, Fade? You want them to check out Prime Mind? You want them to check out, where do you want to send them to? If they got to go to one place right now, where would you send them to? Prime Mind?
They should check out the new version of Prime Mind coming next week or the week after. That would be cool if you give us feedback. It's really just about, even if you don't like it, we want to hear from you. what we can do better. It's just so we make that experience better for everyone.
What if when the new Prime Mine comes out, I do a video where I'm listening to Prime Mine in a cold shower?
Puppy, that's what you should do.
I'm priming my mind before I take this ice cold shower, and then I go in there and I'm like fucking yelling and stuff like that.
That was loud.
I know. It's not as loud as I probably won't actually yell that much. But
okay,
all right, fine.
Puppy, I gotta bounce.
All right, take off, kid. Have fun, guys in the chat. We're out of here. Much love. Be back this coming weekend with my buddy Mike Vacanti, the Staples brother trainer, and Gus Hansen next Monday. Go on iTunes, check it out. Much love. Let us know what you thought on Twitter, social media. Out of here. Fade's gone. Peace out, Fedor.
Bye-bye.
Much love, Poppy. Much love.